सकते हो और हम लोग उसको फिर अरेंज कर लिया करें सैटरडेज में या संडे में। बहुत बड़ी मीटिंग नहीं है, फिर भी 1 आवर की मीटिंग हो सकती है ना? तो we will try to again put everything on the right track.
मैम शिवांगी ज्वाइन होंगी?
हाँ, ज्वाइन होंगी वो। तो शुरुआत में अभी तुम लोग उसको शुरू करो। शिवांगी अभी ज्वाइन नहीं किया है क्या? अभी दिखाई नहीं पड़ रहा है।
नो मैम, शिवांगी
वो टाइम उनका ये बताया गया होगा ना, टाइम डिफरेंस उनका क्या है, और नाम पहले उनका लास्ट में आने वाला था ना, तो
यस मैम।
टेल हर कि वो टाइम से ज्वाइन कर ले।
Okay, so now can we start?
जस्ट अ मोमेंट आयुष, एक बार हम कॉल कर लेते हैं।
Okay, ma'am.
आयुष, हम लोग शुरू कर सकते हैं।
Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, a very good evening and a very good morning to everyone. So this is me, Ayush Zavedi, and it's been a very long time that we are meeting again on the same platform, which is the OSH. So as we all know that OSH is a platform which stands with an open student R. So it is a platform where we used to discuss our opinions on a certain topic, and the topic could be politically, socially, and economically related as well. And the topic itself is chosen by the students, and we used to have an experts on that particular session who used to guide us through all the queries that we used to have in our mind while discussing on those sessions. So as we all know that today we kept the topic as mind management, and this is going to be an international webinar. So we will be discussing various aspects that how we can control our mind and how we can control basically our mind's emotions, whether it's positive or negative, and how we are going to control them off. So for this webinar, we also have a very special guest from different countries right now, if we talk about. And the chair of the webinar would be Professor Sheila Mishra ma'am, who is currently the professor at University of North Carolina in Greensboro at USA. And she was also the former HOD in Department of Statistics in University of Lucknow. And we also have a different guest, like we have Dr. Deepika ma'am. She is the assistant professor at University of Delhi. And we also have been, as we can see, the other guests are also joining. We also have this Shivangi Sheel ma'am, and we also have Anjali Singh ma'am. And these guests will be discussing that how we can control our mind and different aspects on the mind management as well. So basically why we are discussing this topic is that, as we have all know that we have passed through a pandemic period since 2 years, and it's been more than 2 years when we have passed through a COVID situation. So I don't think that this pandemic has tested us mentally, physically, and economically as well. So the basic factor which it tested the humans was a mind, that you was sitting basically isolated at your homes, and your most of the if you talk about your studies or anything, your business, everything got collapsed or got affected through this pandemic period. So at present time, your better mind management is the only one who is going to sail through with these kind of situations and the problem that we are going to face right now. And we have recently seen that in India, the recently data has been released around 25,000 youth in year only 20 till 2020. We have not got the data of after that year. There were around 25,000 youths at the age of between 19 to 30 years have done their suicides. Just because of that, just only they were not being able to control their mind, just because of the pandemic period, or just because of their financial crisis, or we can say it has been more kind of like the studies were going on through the online medium, so it has also created a kind of pressure, or you can say the anxiety on humans people's mind. If we talk about myself only, I have completed my whole semester just sitting at my home. So it's been more kind of an anxiety that when we are going to our campuses and how we are going to do all those things. So it all things creates that how you're going to manage your mind. So basically, these were the things which gives us the fillip to discuss on such and such topic. And for that only, we just kept this webinar to discuss and how we can control our emotions, whether positive or negative, whatsoever we are going to face right now or anywhere in future itself. So first of all, I will be not taking much of your time, and we will be inviting our first guest who will be discussing that how we can control our positive or negative emotions, or we can say that how we are going to control your mind and to think about it positively or negatively. So first of all, I will be calling Dr. Deepika ma'am, who will be discussing us that how we can control our mind through the positive or negative thoughts that we are going to process in our mind at any time. I just want to share my screen with ma'am to you. Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yes, yes, Ayush, you are audible. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, can I start now?
Yes, Deepika.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. Yes,
Welcome, welcome.
thank you, ma'am. Well, I let me start with the message that okay. Good evening, or I can say good morning for someone. Some participants it will be good morning, or some participants it will be a good evening. So good evening good evening everyone. Thank you OSH, uh, which is an open student art platform for students, for inviting me in this international webinar as a speaker. I would also thankful Professor Sheila Mishra ma'am, who is the chair of this international webinar on mind management. Okay, so a famous quote, uh, the mind is a place of its own, and it's itself in itself can make heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. This quote is from John Milton, who is a famous Western philosopher. So I think everyone this pandemic era, everyone is facing this issue that everyone is thinking about so negativity around yourself, and you don't know how to control these things. So we will discuss about these things. For today's session, my topic is negative or positive, a thought process. First of all, I'll share my views about positive and negative thoughts, and later we will discuss about the process and how you can incorporate the positive and negative attitude in your life. Coming to the positive and negative thoughts, if you will search about positive and negative thoughts and how do I stop my negative thoughts, then different speakers shares their different views about these points. Okay, someone will say that just stop thinking, just stop negative, just stop thinking negative thoughts. Someone will say that pour out your negative thoughts and replace them by positive. And someone will say that there is not existing, there will be no existing positive or negative thoughts. Thoughts are only thoughts. So whenever you will search these kinds of complicated topics, which you feel complicated, but thing, the thing is that these are very simple, conceptual based things, then you will find out these problems and you will feel you are stuck here. Where to go? Uh, what will you can do to control your negative thoughts? Or what is negative? So for the answer of this situation, let's just do a simple exercise here. I, I hope this will help you a lot, help you all. Ayush, please move to the third slide.
Yes, Priyanka, Deepika, any
Yes, ma'am.
problem?
Ma'am, third slide.
Okay, Ayush is managing or you are managing?
Ma'am, Aditi ma'am is, I think,
Okay,
managing.
Aditi, please move to the third slide. So I think it's top.
Can you control it,
Is it-
Deepika,
is it
yourself? Or
showing?
she has to?
Third slide is showing, I think.
No, it is
No.
first slide only.
Only first slide, Aditi.
It is first slide showing up.
Okay, 1 minute. Now it is showing?
Yeah, now it's visible.
Okay.
So I think third slide is visible to everyone, and I'll ask something to do this thing. That do not think about pizza. This pizza is in front of you, and you have to stop thinking about it. So this is possible.
No, I think it is not possible because it is front of us.
Okay, yes, you are right. This is in front of you. And if anyhow you will close your eyes and anyhow you can just control yourself that you can't think about, you don't think about this pizza or this pizza, then you will get these pizzas in your dreams. So this is the same thing. Same thing happened with your negative. Okay, can we move to the next slide, please? Please read out it properly. As to stop negative thoughts, just plant good thoughts. What does it mean? Everyone says that please do this thing. This thing is easy for everyone or not. Whenever we think about this thing creates a lots of complications. We think that this is not possible. I tell you, this thing is possible. Please just move to the next slide. Yes. Just see this this plate full of fruits. Now, if I'll ask you to think about fruits, it's in front of you. You will be easily imagine, easily feel this thing, or someone will have these fruits right now, or eat it. I think this is possible. This thing is possible for everyone or not?
Yes,
I want.
yes, it is possible, and we can respond in the chat also. Every participant may give their opinion in the chat box as well, whenever there is any question from the speaker. Thank you.
Okay, so if there is any question from any participant, then please read that question for me, Aditi, if possible, or Ayush.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So this thing is possible. Means if they are, if someone is telling you that don't think about negative thoughts, don't think about negativity, don't hear negative news, listen those negative thoughts, negative views. So this thing is a kind of repetition. Means you are you are doing that thing again and again. You are thinking in your mind 1,000 times. Whenever you are trying to stop yourself to think about that negative thought or negative point, negative thing. But if you want to stop that thing, then the actual process is to think about positive. Everyone will tell you to stop thinking like this, but they have to tell you that stop thinking. Don't stop thinking like this. Just start thinking like this. Start thinking like another thing. Same here. I'm asking you to think about this plate full of fruits. Here, nothing, no line is showing the pizza. And definitely, you will not think about pizza just because in front of you a full of plate full of fruits is here, and also no pizza slices, no more pizza slices. So this thing will help you to understand how you can move from negative to positive. But another thing is that this thing is not possible every time, right? Every time this thing is not possible for you. How you will do this thing, how you will add this thing in your day-to-day life. For this, you have to practice. You have to appreciate. You have to be thankful for everything, for the things you are having in your life. Just a minute. Okay. So this is the way you can start thinking positive. And this is the way we can move from negative thoughts to positive. In fact, whenever I was in that situation, I was thinking so negative, I was having so many negative thoughts. Then I keep on thinking, and I overthink, and these things just ruin your life, ruin your happiness and everything. So the key is this, and the solution is so simple. You have to just think positive. Don't say yourself, don't tell yourself, don't tell anyone, then stop thinking negative. Just start thinking positive. This is the key of the happiness you can achieve. Happiness by this way. The more good thoughts you can plant in a day by appreciating, by thanking everyone or the things you are having, the faster your life will be utterly transformed into a good life. And this thing I think this thing you can do easily and very calmly. You can apply this particular
Deepika, your voice is not clear and it
Sorry,
is little much slow also.
I think I'm using the wrong one. Okay, let's see. So from starting it was not clear from the
Yes,
start.
now it is clear. You can continue.
Okay, my voice, just a minute. I think now it's clear, right?
Yes, now it is clear.
Okay, thank you. So I have to repeat things, or we can.
No, you can continue. You can
Okay,
continue.
okay, thank you. And we know our parents used to say this thing, "Jaisa sochoge waisa ban jaoge." Means whatever you think, that you will be. If you think yourself weak you will be. And this is so true. Means just exercise, just do this thing one day. Don't think about anything else. Don't feel anything. Just lay down on your bed and don't do anything. You will feel that you are ill. You are not doing anything. So the thing is that you have to do the positive things in this way. Next slide, Aditi, if possible. Aditi, next slide. Okay. This thing I already told you that you plant good thoughts by making it daily practice. To appreciate all the things in your day. Just because whenever you will say thank you. This is a sign of positive. Next, please. And sorry, I can't see the thing. Let me check which slide is it. Okay. So deliberately thinking good thoughts is exactly like planting seeds. Yes, it is. Whenever you plant a seed, after sometimes you will get a flower or fruit from that particular plant. As you think good thoughts, you are planting good seeds inside you, and the universe will transform those seeds into a garden of paradise. Yes, it's true. If you will think positive, then everything will be positive for you. You will feel good, you will be happy, and by seeing your happiness, your surroundings, so other persons who are related with you will be happy. Okay, next slide, please. This is the way you can change your life. This girl is standing somewhere and she's looking towards that mountain. So according to my view, she's happy. Next, please. The famous quote from Swami Vivekananda, who is the positive personality. You must retain great strength in your mind and words. I'm low, I'm low. Repeating these ideas in mind, man delights and degrades himself. So please don't degrade yourself. Just think positive and lift up your life, whatever you want to do. Lastly, Aditi, last slide. Okay. Thank you everyone for listening me and my views. I hope my this lecture help you somewhere to understand and overcome from these negative thoughts. Thank you.
I think Ayush has left.
Maybe some connectivity issue, maybe, I
Yes,
think,
ma'am.
Aditi.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
it was a really very thoughtful presentation by Dr. Deepika. And it was the core of the problem, like the thoughts. If you are knowing the technique of managing the thoughts, how can you convert the thoughts which are not doing good to you, which we call negative thoughts, into positive thoughts, which are helpful for you, which are helpful for you to achieve your objectives in the life, then I think all the problems of mind management will be solved. So thank you, Deepika, for sharing your insight. And now over to Ayush, you can continue the session. I think there is some connectivity issue with Ayush as well. So Aditi, you may continue.
Yes, ma'am. I will invite the next speaker of the event, Miss Shivangi Sheel to present her views on the given topic.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, you're
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to begin my talk by thanking the organizers of the Open Student Hour and the chairperson for inviting me to talk about what I think is a very important topic in the current situation, mind management. And what I would like to talk about today, so I have no presentation, it's more like a discussion that in the current time, how can we be more mindful when we are suffering from negative, intrusive thoughts? Now, it might sound like a big topic, but it's not. It's something that all of us suffer from, and it's something that all of us have gone through often in our lives. So, before we begin this discussion, I would like to elaborate on what I mean by mindfulness and negative, intrusive thoughts. So, mindfulness is the just a second. Can you see me? Am I visible?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I wasn't aware my camera wasn't working till now. So mindfulness is the basic ability of us as humans to be fully present, aware of what we are, where we are, and what we're doing without being overwhelmed or anxious and overly reactive to what is happening in our environment. Now, to make this simpler, I would explain it by something we've all gone through. Anxiety before giving a viva. Imagine that you have a viva in an hour and you're sitting at home and you're not that prepared, and it's by a professor who you think is like really strict and not going to give you marks. So at that moment, you're thinking, oh my God, what if I fail? What if I can't do this? What if I don't get my marks? I've not prepared well for this. I've not done well in other exams. I really need to be doing well in my current exam. So in that situation, you are not present in the moment. You are thinking about the future, you're thinking about the future issues, and you're getting stressed by a hypothetical negative future situation. So this will not only hamper your performance, like if you're anxious, you will probably not be able to give your viva well because you will feel more pressured to do it. It will also, when prolonged, can cause a lot of physical issues. So to counter, and since we are in the middle of a pandemic when all of us are facing situations we have never faced before in our entire lives, we are in a situation which is so unforeseen and we don't know how to react, that we are facing more anxiety and depression. Like depression and anxiety rates have increased tremendously since the past 2 years. There have been, as was told before, that there have been increasing rates of suicides, there have been increasing cases of depression, and anxiety is something that all of us feel on a very regular basis. To define anxiety, it would be something that it's a feeling of dread, of uneasiness, of fear. And while it's common and beneficial for us even to feel anxious, like for before a performance, like anxiety does increase performance, but over a prolonged period of time, if we are constantly at a place of unease and distress, as people, we can't function. As humans, we can't function then. So when in addition to depression, having difficulty making decisions, having difficulties concentrating, constantly feeling guilty, worthless, not being able to indulge in exercises, any physical activities that we like doing, if we're feeling too lazy or we can't eat, we can't sleep, we're feeling sad, and adding intrusive thoughts to that. Intrusive thoughts are like recurrent thoughts about not feeling worthwhile, not feeling like you're doing enough, not feeling like you're good enough, not feeling like you can do something well. All of these thoughts are very detrimental for our health, especially during these times. So while everyone would suggest, okay, therapy is not the most accessible thing, and it's not something that all of us can go to at all times. So, what we need to do is practice mindfulness, practicing how mindfulness can make us be more aware of the situation without losing our sense of self-esteem, without losing our sense of control, without feeling depressed, without feeling anxious. And it's not as difficult as it sounds. Like, obviously, it's not a walk in the park. Like, everybody says, okay, theek hai, there are bad thoughts, stop thinking or stop feeling that. It's not as easy as it sounds, because all of us have tried to feel good, but it's difficult. But actually, it's not that difficult, because if we follow some things which are 7 basic rules as we are taught, like to counter the effects of stress and depression on our mind, then we can have a much better life. And I will elaborate on those points. The first and foremost is to stop judging your actions, to stop judging that everything is going to be black and white. Now, a lot of times we think it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. या तो मैं फेल करूंगा या तो मैं पास करूंगा. अगर मैं फेल किया तो जिंदगी ऐसी ही जाएगी, अगर मैंने पास किया तो सब कुछ बहुत अच्छा होगा मेरे साथ. But that's not how it works. The world is not black and white. The world is in various shades of gray. And a lot of times our judgment and our automatic thoughts are not as important or as fixed as they might seem. You need to recognize that a lot of times that things that are as bad may not be as bad as they seem, and things that are good might have future consequences. So you need to take things in the way they are coming without being too judgmental on yourself for what you're acting. The second thing would be to be patient. And while everybody says that be patient, practice patience, patience is not something that comes very easily to us. But what you need to understand is that life will unfold with time. You can't predict everything, you cannot do everything, you cannot rush everything. There are times when we will fail, there are times when we will pass, and we cannot predict the future. So at the moment, we need to live in the very present while being mindful that, okay, so the future might hold this, be open to the possibility of it. The third thing would be to have a beginner's mind. Now, a beginner's mind is something that you need to remember that, yes, you have had past experiences and they have defined how you view the future, but you have never been in this situation before. We have never been in a pandemic before. We do not know everything that has happened. We have learned from the past 2 major pandemics that happened, like the plague or the yellow fever, but we have never been in this current situation. You have not seen, you have not heard, you have not experienced everything. So be open to new ideas, be open to the fact that tomorrow is not going to be the same as today. It's if something bad has happened in the future, it does not necessarily mean something bad is going to happen in, like, I'm sorry, if something bad has happened in the past, it does not mean it will happen again in the future. And to be more open and receptive to this. It's a simple thing to do, but something that we often don't do. We feel like, नहीं ऐसा हो चुका है मेरे साथ और आगे भी नहीं होगा अगर मैं इस situation में ऐसा नहीं करूँगा. So that will cause you to be very anxious about controlling, that I have to control the situation. I have to act a certain way for me to succeed or for me to be able to do this, but that's not how it works. You have to let things unfold with from the past 2 points. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust your own intuition that you do know what's best for you. Take advice from your parents, take advice from your friends, take advice from your teachers, your well-wishers, but at the end of the day, your decision should be yours. You should be able to trust your own instincts that you are on the right path, because when you don't trust yourself, you are not going to be able to be comfortable with your own self. You're not going to be able to be free of anxiety or sad or intrusive thoughts. And another thing is what we, I think, are constantly striving for is to be different than other people, or is to be better than our past self, or to be better than the next person, or to be better than our friends. But you need to be accepting. You need to accept that you are, as a person, you're enough. Nothing takes away that fact that everything that you have in yourself, everything who you are, is already more than enough. You are good. You are perfect as you are. Yes, there are things you can do to change yourself, to make yourself better, but you don't necessarily need to be different from people. in order to be better, because the idea of being different or better can be very sabotaging. It can be very distracting. You will always be unsatisfied with who you are or what you have, because once you start feeling that I can always be better than this, you will never be satisfied with what you have. You will always feel you're not good enough. So recognize the fact that you are good. You are absolutely perfect just the way you are. And yes, you can strive to be better, but it should not be your end thing to be not accepting towards yourself. Accept the fact that sometimes things do not go according to the way that you might want them to go. That does not mean that you didn't try. That does not mean you're not good enough. That does not mean that you are not worthy of doing the thing. That does not mean that you are incapable. It simply means that sometimes life has a different way of taking things out than what we're used to. Don't be clouded by your judgment of how it should have been, because there's a lot of things and situations we need to learn from, and we can move ahead with that. So letting go is a very important part of being mindful. Like a lot of times we have thoughts and we have ideas and we have situations in the past or doubts about our future, and we are very caught up in all of those. Being caught up in these are undoubtedly going to raise a lot of your anxiety. They're going to make you sad. They're going to make you feel upset. They're going to elevate your stress levels. And it's not good for you. It's not good for your heart. It's not good for your well-being in general. And it's not good for your performance. So a lot of times our own thoughts are something we need to let go of. You need to let things unfold in the way they might unfold and be okay to what the situations might be. Now, there are various things that you can do to feel this way. For example, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling nervous, then write it down. Write down all the thoughts. You don't have to sit with them. You don't have to show with them to anyone. You can just tear that apart. You can burn it or you can keep it. That's up to you. But write it down. That journaling helps with anxiety and depression both. Understand that your thoughts do not define you. They are just thoughts. This is something that we call as thought detachment in psychology, where you observe yourself from a third person view. You don't think, like, if you have a thought that I am worthless or I am not enough or oh my God, I'm very anxious, recognize that this is just a thought. Change the language. You are not worthless. You are having a thought that is worthless. And just because you're thinking something does not mean you have to act in it or believe in it. We are human beings. We have a very complex brain structure. We have a lot of thoughts and we need to let it pass. So practice thought detachment. Imagine that your thoughts are a cloud or a leaf. Let them flow. Don't get attached to them. Be completely detached to your thoughts which cause anxiety. Visualize that the thoughts will not come into action if you don't want them to. That will reduce the fear that is attached to them. If you're getting intrusive thoughts, like, for example, this is an extreme case situation, you might feel that life is very hard. I want to end it now. I don't want to continue doing this. Or I am not feeling good with the studies, or like the semester is going really bad. I should drop out. I should not do this. Divert your attention by doing other things. Accept the thought. Accept that you're feeling this way, but don't dwell on it. Act on it in a manner which is better for you. By, for example, take a walk, go sit with your family, sit with friends, write it down, watch a movie. A lot of times when we sit with a thought, a lot of times when we allow ourselves to feel it, you don't have to be detached to feeling it. You don't have to feel like, oh my God, this is bad. I shouldn't be feeling this way. You're a human. You're going to feel a lot of things. Allow yourself to feel them and then allow yourself to move past them. You don't have to sit with feeling bad. Feel bad for half an hour, cry if you want to, watch a movie, eat a chocolate, sit with friends, do anything that makes you feel happy, and then move past it. Do something that you can actually make efforts to solve the problem if it's solvable. For example, if you're feeling that you haven't been studying, if you're feeling that you're not doing good at your job, make a list of all the things that you need to do to be better at it and then implement it. It sounds easy, it's difficult, but it comes with practice. Positive affirmations are very important. Tell yourself that you're worthy, love yourself. And this, I cannot stress on this enough, but every day we are taught that the world is like, दुनिया में ऐसा नहीं होता, लोग हर कोई तुम्हारे साथ अच्छा नहीं करेगा, तुमको जानना चाहिए कि बाहर जाओगे असली दुनिया में अच्छा नहीं होगा, ये ऐसा नहीं होगा. And people are rude to you, people are mean to you. At the end of the day, you need somebody who loves you unconditionally. And you have that one person, it can be you. Just be kind towards yourself. Understand that you are doing all you can, that you are going to be better. And if the world is as bad as they say that it is, then at least you deserve one person who is not bad to you, and that has to be you. You have to tell yourself, I'm worthy. You have to tell yourself that I love myself. You should do something in the day that helps you feel better without it having to do anything for your family, without it having to do anything for your friends, without it, no ulterior motive, just for yourself, whether it's yoga, whether you want to read a book, whether you want to enjoy music, whether you want to watch a movie, take some time out in a day just for yourself. Even if it's just a cup of tea with while you're listening to songs, that is enough for you. All of these ways, while they seem very simple, actually have a tremendous effect on our mental well-being. And allowing ourselves to feel what we are feeling and then doing something about it is better than not allowing ourselves to feel it. We shouldn't be in a कि मुझको बुरा नहीं लगना चाहिए, सबके साथ होता है सबके साथ. आपके पास पूरा हक है बुरा लगने का. You're a different person, you have a different set of problems. Feel bad about it. Allow yourself to be sad, allow yourself to be anxious, but at the same time, don't stay in that situation. Also work on getting out of it, and it's easy. You don't need another person's help all the time. You can simply practice a lot of things like meditation. You can practice writing, you can practice listening to songs, you can practice taking some time for yourself, and all of these things help us in becoming a better version of ourselves without having to feel that we are very anxious or not, or like sad in the current situation. So I believe that it is in this way that you have to focus on your breathing, focus on your position, focus on the way you talk to other people, on the way you talk to yourself, and we will feel better because it works. It completely works. So thank you so much for listening to me about it. And I hope that everybody who is going through any kind of negative experiences can get some help from this lecture. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving so valuable points on this topic, that how to manage our mind, because nowadays it's most essential for the youth nowadays, because there are so many cases of suicides, and there are so many cases of the lack of self-esteem in nowadays in the present youth. So I think these points will be definitely going to add some value in the youth. And I suppose that we have recently seen that increase in the number of increase in the production of the cosmetic products is the only one this is only because the people don't believe in themselves, they don't accept their own appearance, and they don't accept their own position in which they are on. So I think the time they will accept themselves, the time when they will be believing themselves, will be the best point to get success in their life. And the only right thing is you will have to channelize your positive thoughts into the best direction to get success in their life. And I think that would be the best lesson for managing the mind. So moving forward, before calling to our next speaker, I would be saying one line in Hindi only, that man ke hare haar hai, man ke jeete jeet. So the next speaker that I want to call upon is Dr. Anil Kumar Mishra sir, who will be discussing about a few more points, that how we can manage our mind and how the present youth can channelize their thoughts into the right direction. Sir, you're the most welcome. So can you hear me?
Ayush, maybe if there is some issue or connectivity issue, then we can move to the other speaker.
Yes, ma'am. Priyanka will be next speaker.
Okay. So sorry for the inconvenience that has been caused. I think the sir is not able to hear us, or maybe some problem is there. So we are just shifting towards calling to the next speaker. I would like to call Priyanka Verma ma'am. She is the research scholar from University of Lucknow from Department of Statistics. So she will be also discussing few of the thoughts on the mind management, because she is also coming from our own youth category. So she will be all knowing all the issues which the youths are facing nowadays, and which would be the best. I think she is going to express the best solution also way forward, that how the youth can manage their mind forward. So ma'am, we are most welcome.
Thank you so much, Ayush. First of all, good morning or good evening to all dear participants. And I am Priyanka Verma, research scholar from Department of Statistics, University of Lucknow, India. First of all, I would like to thanks the organizing team and the chair person of this webinar, Professor Sheila Misra ma'am, to provide me such a wonderful platform to share my views on the topic mind management. So I will try. I hope my presentation will be informative and knowledgeable to all the participants, and I will try to make it more interactive also. So uh, my slide is visible.
Yes.
Thank you. So the topic of my my presentation is techniques and benefits of mind management. So this is the roadmap of my presentation. First, we will discuss about what is mind management, why we need to manage our mind properly, and then we will discuss 5 mind management techniques also. And after that, we will discuss about the benefits of mind management and what are the different benefits if we follow the right practice of yoga and meditation. We will discuss it also. So let us start with first slide. So what is mind management? So mind management is a way that how we control our mind or one's mind. To do this, we need to caution about our thinking process, and also we need to have a high level understanding and meditation as well. So we need to be very alert about the thinking process, also our thinking process. So in the present scenario, why we need to manage our mind properly? So as we all know that it has been during COVID-19 pandemic, it has been a very challenging situation for all of us. There are many reasons behind it, like day by day new number of people getting affected by the disease, continuous lockdown, and work from home, online schooling, social distancing, and economic downturn, that is cause of loss of job and pay cut also creates anxiety and depression also. So in all these situations, we need to manage our mind well. So I would like to share these quotes given by Robin Sharma. Life management begins with mind management. The quality of your life is influenced by the quality of your thoughts. Your thoughts do form your world. Scared thoughts creates a life of scarcity. Thoughts of abundance lead to abundant circumstances. So we need to focus on our thought process. Whatever you thought, you will you need to develop it as a quality thoughts, so that you will move to a better life. So there are 5 mind management technique for change our lifestyle. So first technique is vision and goal setting. So vision and goal setting, in this technique, we need to we have to understand that what you want in your life, and we need to focus on where you are going and what you want to achieve. So we need to focus on these three things, that what you want in your life and where you are going and what you want to achieve. So if there is something you want to change about your life, having goals setting a great way to start. So it is all about that, thinking about the what you want to achieve or what you want your life to look like after the changes made those changes. Now technique second is taking stocks, means you need to take stock of where you are and look at what is stopping you achieving your goals. So eliminate those things, whatever what things is stopping you to achieve your goals. Third technique is releasing limiting belief, means the idea behind this technique is to take each of these limiting thoughts and to explore it, to find it and explore it, and a quick and easy way it to your take your list of your limiting thoughts and tear it and burn it and little pieces and throw it in the bin or burn it. So it is a easy way to how you can releasing your limiting belief, your thoughts. Fourth technique is empowering affirmations. Means in this technique you can those limiting, you can replace your negative thoughts to by the positive thoughts. In this way you can easily manage your mind or control your mind thought process. And fifth technique is visualizing. It is a very important, because visualizing is a mind management technique which involves imaging this repeatedly desired outcome. Means whatever you want, you have focused, you have focus on goal. So whatever the desired outcomes, so you just imagine repeatedly over and over again and again, so that visualization helps get you in the right frame of mind to do what you need to achieve it. Now what are the benefits of mind management? So if you properly manage your mind or control your mind, so you will feel like a superhero. Means nothing feels better than pulling yourself out of darkness, finding the light and putting yourself on the path to safety. You will feel a mental superpower like you have never felt before. So after removing darkness in your life, you will choose the right path of your life or safety path of your life, so you will be feel like a superhero. Now second benefit is you will have less conflict. Means ask yourself that is it worth my time, energy and mental health? Issues that are important can be handled in a more productive. After that, issues that are important can be handled in a more productive and respectful way. Now third is you will sleep better, and fourth is you will be the master of your mind and you will feel inner peace. Now what are the benefits of right practice of yoga and meditation? So manage mind management. For doing mind management, we follow regular practice of yoga and meditation. So there are many different benefits of yoga and meditation. So I have listed some. uh, you would find inner peace and thereafter develop great clarity understanding from within. And with the right practice, you would find that you would be benefit objectivity and gain an intuitive knowledge about would able you to deal with and resolve the regular problem that life may pose you with regularly. It would lead a better harmony in your relationship with your family members and near and dear one. However, you also need to know that the result would come only with sincere effort and also with the will to continue striving. Means you have to follow it on the regular basis. After that, you will find these results in your body or your life. So again, I would like to share this a very good quote by Swami Vivekananda ji. The highest meditation is to think of nothing. If you can remain one moment without thought, great power will come. So we need to do meditation for few minutes, just for few minutes, but do on the regular basis, so that our thought process will be changed accordingly with positive. Negative thoughts will be removed. And naturally, we will always, in any situation, in any circumstances, we will always naturally in our mind positive thoughts will come. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any query or
Thank you, Priyanka. Ayush, are we going to take the question answers in the last?
Yes, ma'am, we are going to take the questions in the last.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, I cannot see any question right now. So thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your presentation and beautifully arranging all the topics and all the issues and beautifully presenting your slides among us and discussing on the topic of mind management. So now we will be moving forward by taking the thought from your slide only by the Vivekanandaji that it's that nobody can do a meditation just thinking nothing. If you have, then it would be a great power that you have achieved in your life. So I think that was the best thought I can crave from your presentation. So now moving forward by calling the other guest for this session. So the other speaker that I want to call right now, as I can see, Dr. Vidya Bhushan sir. Is he present right now?
No.
Okay. So now can we go to Dr. Anil Kumar sir, Mr. Sir, right now? Is he present?
I think he is not able to listen to us. So we can proceed further by inviting the questions and the suggestions and the views from the audience. There are many esteemed guests present among us. So if any of them wish to add anything to the session, they are most welcome. So you can invite everybody who want to share or say something about the session or any query or any question, Ayush.
Yes, ma'am. So as ma'am has rightly pointed out, that if anybody from the participant list wants to add something on this particular issue, because as we all know that this issue is very much burning and everybody would be having so much to say about, and everybody would be having their own story to tell about in this, that how they have passed this pandemic period and all that. So if you have, then you're most welcome to share your thoughts on this particular issue. So it would be very much helpful for all of us to know what your thoughts are on this particular topic. So anybody?
And I think everybody can unmute themselves or they can raise the hand if there is any issue. So
Yeah, they can also do that thing.
yes. So I would be happy if Dr. Pramod Mishra ji, he can say a few words. Dr. Satya Sharan ji and Dr. Ratnesh ji, that will be great to listen to you in few words. You may please unmute yourself and then you can share your thoughts, or anybody who is, because this is the limitation of the technology. So anybody who wish to share something and say something, we can we will be delighted to listen to them. Dr. Sanjeev Sinha is there. So Dr. Swami Dayal is there. I'm really grateful that so many esteemed guests have joined us, and all the students, the scholars. Neeti is there. Neeti, you can also share your views, because I know you are working a lot on different issues involving the humans. So you can, I think, definitely share something.
मैम गुड इवनिंग। पता नहीं वहाँ मॉर्निंग हुई है कि इवनिंग
गुड
है।
मॉर्निंग है, हमारी तो गुड मॉर्निंग है, अर्ली मॉर्निंग है।
ओके मैम, गुड मॉर्निंग।
गुड मॉर्निंग
मैम आपको देख के सुन के काफी अच्छा लगा, और प्रियंका जी ने भी काफी अच्छे से अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दिया। जहाँ तक माइंड मैनेजमेंट की बात है, तो कोविड के दौरान आई थिंक सबसे जो माइनस पॉइंट ये था कि जितने भी पेशेंट थे उस दौरान काफी लोग की जो डेथ हुई थी वो डेथ की वजह से हुई थी। डेथ की, सॉरी मैं कुछ हड़बड़ी में बोल रही हूँ, जो डर की वजह से हुई थी। लेकिन इस दौरान प्लस पॉइंट ये भी रहा कि सभी ने अपनी तरह से अपने माइंड को मैनेज करना भी सीखा है, किस तरीके से इस डर से बाहर निकलना है ये भी सीखा है, और अपने टाइम को फ्रूटफुली यूज करना भी सीखा है। लाइक जिसको म्यूजिक सुनना पसंद था उसने म्यूजिक में इंटरेस्ट लिया, जिसको खाना बनाना पसंद था उसने खाना बनाने में इंटरेस्ट लिया। घर पे रहे और जिस तरीके से वो मैनेज कर सकते थे उस तरीके से उन्होंने मैनेज किया है, और अभी भी हम लोग उसी फ्लो में ही चल रहे हैं। लाइक अभी भी ऑनलाइन क्लासेस चल रही हैं। सभी को पता है कि इंटरनेट इश्यूज आते हैं। लाइक मैं अभी बलिया में हूँ और बलिया में मैंने एज अ गेस्ट फैकल्टी ज्वाइन किया है, तो यहाँ पे ऑनलाइन इशू, नेटवर्क का इशू बहुत ज्यादा रहा है। फिर भी सभी ने किसी ना किसी तरह, कोई व्हाट्सएप कॉलिंग के थ्रू कांटेक्ट कर रहा है, कोई किसी के थ्रू कांटेक्ट कर रहा है। एक दूसरे के लिए हमेशा सब खड़े हैं यहाँ पे। तो ये चीजें कोरोना के दौरान भी मतलब एक प्लस पॉइंट बन के निकली है। यहाँ मैं जहाँ पे रुकी हुई हूँ वहाँ भी इन लोग ने पूरा मेंटली सपोर्ट करके रखा है कि अगर आपको कभी भी कोई भी जरूरत है आप हमसे तुरंत कहिए। ऐसा बिल्कुल फील नहीं कि हम रेंट पे रह रहे हैं या किराए के मकान में रह रहे हैं। ये सारी चीजें मतलब यहाँ वी फीलिंग भी है। तो ये जो वी फीलिंग है जो कहीं गायब हो चुकी थी, वो इस दौरान वो उभर के सामने आई है। बस मैम यही कहना चाहूंगी, क्योंकि नेटवर्क इशू था तो मैं सही से सुन भी नहीं पाई हूँ पूरा जो वेबिनार है वो। थैंक यू मैम।
थैंक यू नीति। Okay, Ayush, so we can continue.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So as I can also see the Yamini is there. So Yamini, if you want to share something, because she was also having. Am I audible to you, Yamini?
There is some noise coming, Ayush. I don't know. It is from your side or there is something wrong with my side. Some noise.
I don't know
Yes, ma'am, it is coming from Ayush's side. I think you are joined from two devices. Yes.
No, I'm joined from one device only.
Some echo.
Now it's okay, I think. Sometimes it is coming, but yes, we can continue.
Yes.
you. So I think
So,
now
Yamini, we are waiting to listen your point of view, if you are still there, or
okay, I think she cannot listen us. So now we are just moving forward. So now we are just moving towards the call for the chair of this webinar, Professor Sheila Mishra ma'am. So we will be just having few of the words on this particular topic, and we would be enlightened as well to listen her views on this particular issue, because this is a very lot more burning issue right now. Because talking about me myself only, that I am just there at my home from more than 1 year. It's been like I have not gone to the campus, and it's a good campus, but I have not gone there from 1 year only. So I'm just wishing that when the time will come, and we just, so it just creates a kind of an anxiety that till how much time just we are going to join through our phones and doing the online meetings and classes on. So I think everything has an end, and I don't know when this will going to end. So, ma'am, you're most welcome, and to share your words on this particular issue.
Thank you, Ayush. I'm really delighted to be here during this international webinar on a very, very important topic of mind management. And it is really great to see that openstudentshr has been doing wonderful activities just from the beginning of this forum, openstudentshr. And the purpose is to take up the topics which are of current importance and on which especially the younger generation feels like they should have something to discuss among themselves and come out with some kind of solutions or some kind of techniques or some kind of roadmap how to overcome those problems. So that was the idea behind conducting this international webinar as well. And it was really great that some of the speakers could agree to share their presentations within very short time. Actually, we just decided and asked the people. So we have not given enough time also to the speakers to think something, but they have really been very quick in taking the decision and sharing their thoughts. And for that matter, if we go to the first speaker, Dr. Deepika, who is in a college of Delhi University, she talked very important aspect of mind management. And that is like, if there is negative thought, then the only way to control the negative thought is to replace by the positive thoughts. You just cannot control negative thought by only looking at negative thought. And the wonderful example she gave, whatever is in front of you, if you see it all the time, that is the only thing which will retain in your mind. So if you want to shift your thoughts, you have to think about something positive, something which is fruitful to your objectives, whatever your objective is in your life. Not necessarily it has to be very great kind of goal like achieving enlightenment or achieving God or something. Not necessarily, or being the billionaire or having a great job. It may be very like short-term goal as well. So for example, just losing the weight, or maybe being the fit, or maybe rising up early in the morning. So all these small goals can also be achieved if you just keep thinking of the positive aspects of that goal and keep reminding yourself what will happen if you stick to those positive thoughts. So that is the wonderful presentation. And I'm really thankful to Dr. Deepika for sharing her views. Coming to Shivangi Sheel, who is a student of neuroscience and clinical psychology in Pavia University, Italy. She has very well pointed out the aspects related with the mindfulness. This is a big word around the globe. And if you just take up this word anywhere in the webinar or in any talk, many people just come to listen to what is the mindfulness, what is it all about. So this is the same word which in ancient India, we have been talking for so long. Whatever you do with your entire focus and concentration. And that can be possible only when you are present in that moment. She has wonderfully talked about another very important aspect, which was being in present moment. And that is, believe me, not an easy task. Whenever we just think about what we are thinking, it is most of the time the future or the past. If we are planning something for the future, constantly we are thinking how it is going to happen, what will happen if it happens, what happens if it doesn't happen. So most of the time we are in the future. Or if something has happened in the past, why it happened, what if it would not have happened, why it happened to me, or why it did not happen to me. So most of the time, most of us are either in future or in past. So that is the biggest problem which comes when we talk about mindfulness. You cannot be mindful in the present moment if you keep dwelling in present, in the past and in the future. So she talked about some techniques as well, and which appealed me most is detachment. You know, this word has been really highlighted many times by the sages of India, by our scriptures, vairagya. This is what we call in the correct terminology. Swami Vivekananda also talked about only two things. If we can do in our life, we can do whatever we decide. So these are the vairagya, the detachment, and another word she talked about was practice, which Swamiji called like abhyas. So abhyas and vairagya, or we can call it, as she gave the term, the new psychology terms, detachment and practice. So how can we practice detachment? When people talk about detachment, they say it is really not possible. How can we be detached? Does it mean that we have not to think about our family, not to think about our desires, not to think about our goals, not to think about our belongings, our assets? How it is possible to be detached? Kaise vairagya ho? So this is, if you just observe, can you really be attached? Is it possible to be attached, or we feel due to ignorance that we are attached? So just start from your own self. Nobody can be more attached than to oneself. But see, are you able to hold yourself? At one point of time, you were a child, a small child, having no worries, but that passed. You could not hold that childhood. Then you are a youth, and that is also passing by every moment. You are not able to hold the time, your youth. You were healthy at one point of time. You could not hold it. You become sick at one point of time. That also passes. So you see that if you scientifically observe your own body, your all body cells completely, you are overhauled within 7 years of time. Each and every cell of your body is gone, which was you earlier. So whether you believe it or not, You just cannot hold anything. You have to be detached. But if you feel like you should look always like your childhood or your youth or when you were healthy, then that is the cause of the misery. That is the cause of all the problems. And that is what we call in our Indian scriptures, moh or rag or attachment. So the new terminology which calls that be detached. And she also pointed out another very important aspect. Be a distant observer. The thoughts will come into your mind. It is not in your control. If you just observe your mind, you will see that your thoughts are just popping up. You are not thinking consciously. They just come up. And especially when you sit in silence for a couple of minutes, if you try to do that, many thoughts emerge. And all the work you remember at that time only. You have to go to your college, or you have to do certain thing, or you have to meet your friend, or you have to check the message, or you have to see how many likes and dislikes are there on the social media. So all the work, all the thoughts just start popping up in your mind. And you believe that if you are that thought, then that becomes a problem. So you have to understand your true nature as well. And that is the key question in the mind management, to understand your true self. And how can we understand our true self, who we are? Most of the time we say, I'm Professor Sheila Mishra, but this is the name given by my parents, and the professor is the degree I achieved. So before that, what I was I there before my name was officially given to me, or before I joined this profession? Or if people inquire more, I may tell I belong to this place, but that is also not my real identity. So identifying yourself by your name, your position, your place, your surroundings, your achievements, your assets, these are not your true identities. And most of the time, we recognize people by their identities, and we also want those kind of identities for ourselves, feeling that these persons are enjoying the life because of these identities, the money, the position, the celebrity status, or the place where they are. So we also start thinking that if I get all these things, I will be satisfied. So here, another thing is to be understood. Like the first thing, these are not my true identities. I was there before these identities, and I will remain after these identities. If I change my name, if I change my job, if I change my place, I will still remain. So that means I'm something beyond these identities. And then who am I? So if you just see, most of the time it is very easy to identify ourselves with my body. And body you saw scientifically as well. It is sometimes growing, gaining weight, losing weight. As a child, I was 3 kg, 4 kg. Now I am 40 kg, 50 kg, 100 kg. And again, if I become weak, it goes away. The organs are transplanted. Your kidney, your liver, your heart, your hand, your knees, everything can get transplanted. But you don't unbecome yourself. You are still there. So there is something within you which is eternal, which is never changing. And that is what we call the consciousness, or your true being. So when in your dream state, all the five senses, they are not working. You are not using your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, your body, but still you are having the whole world inside the dream. Who is creating that dream? Then you realize, oh, maybe I'm the mind. But again, when you sit in the meditation, you see that you can see your mind. Sometimes your mind is relaxed, having good thoughts, happy state. Sometimes your mind is anxious, not feeling comfortable. Your mind is having negative thoughts. That means you cannot be your mind, because you are aware of your mind. Your mind is fluctuating. But you are the person within you who is never changing, who was there in the childhood, who was there in the sickness, who was there in the healthy state, who was there in the happy state, who was there in the sad state, and who is aware of all these states. So who you are. So if you start contemplating on all these things mentally, you arrive that you are the pure conscious being. And then you understand the message of Gita, that consciousness is ever present, eternal, ever happy, ever blissful, and sorrow cannot touch it, or no hurt can be done to that conscious being. And then you become fearless. So greatest cause of misery in the world, or the problem of mind, is fear. Fear of losing something, fear of not getting something, fear of dying, fear of having limited time and energy to fulfill all the desires of the world. So that fear will go away if you realize that this is not the only life you are therein. There has been many previous births, there is this birth, and there will be many after this, and you are on eternal journey. And also, if you see the evolution of the living beings, we say that there was only a unitary cell organism when the journey of the life started on Earth. So from unicellular, you have become Homo sapiens. Is it the effort of the human being? Did we do anything to become from chimpanzee to the human being which we are today, who is like having access to all the planets, and having so many satellites, and having control over the nature? So what we have done to achieve at that mental level? So that has been done by the nature. It is the job of the nature to evolve you by creating challenges in the life and make changes in your genes. And those changes in your genes, when they happen, they go into your subconscious mind. And that is how evolution happens. So whenever any situation arises in your real life, just think of it as an opportunity to evolve yourself from within, so that you can have a better mindset for coming moments, for the future life. That is the only purpose of life on the earth, to evolve from within. Otherwise, whatever we achieve outside, a hurricane comes, an earthquake comes, a volcano erupts, and everything can be gone in a moment. But what doesn't go is that the evolution process of the nature. And if we compare our lives, maximum 100 years, it doesn't count anything in the history of million years of the life on earth. You are not even a speck of a dust. What do you think about yourself? So that releases your your desire to control the whole world. You cannot, you are not supposed to. So just be in harmony with your surrounding, be in compassion with the nature and the people surrounding you, and accept what is there for you, and be grateful and express your gratitude. Start your day by feeling grateful to where you are and who are the persons who have contributed in making you what you are. So if we just start from our own life, we have not chosen our parents. It was the grace of God that I got birth in that family. I got the opportunity to education. That was not my effort. That was not like I deserved that. It was grace of God I was given. I was given teachers who taught me. I had the opportunity to read the scriptures. That was not my something achievement. And if I'm getting a job, the money is also, which I'm very proud of, that is also given by others. So whatever I'm proud of is always belonging to somebody else. It is not mine. So money I'm proud of, it is given by somebody else. I may be proud of my body. I have not created myself. I'm proud of my strength. That is how the nature works. And that is like the achievement of the nature, that they have created this human machinery so well that it functions even if we don't do anything. Our heart pumps, our nervous system works, our digestive system works. We do very little thing to carry forward this life, which I call I myself. So it is done automatically. So what are we fearful of? We are not managing our own body. It is being managed by the inbuilt system. We are simply putting some food which we enjoy into it, and rest of the thing is done automatically by this body. So why do we think that in the whole world, I have to manage everything? It is my responsibility. So we have to just take up a little responsibility, whatever is suitable in my surrounding, do it wholeheartedly, but never get anxious about the results it is bringing out. So karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. So Gita mein jo ye kaha gaya hai, this statement is very, very important. I'm not saying you should not aspire for, you should not have ambitions for, but even if you succeed or if you fail, you should not be disturbed by that. That is the key message. And how can it happen? So it is, just see, if you have a desire, what happens? Either it will get fulfilled or it will not get fulfilled. What happens if it gets fulfilled? You will get bored after some time and you will have another desire to achieve. You cannot stay at one desire whole life, that wow, I have achieved it, my desire is fulfilled, and I'm a happy person now. It is not going to be. So even after the desire is fulfilled, you are not going to be happy forever by that desire. You will become bored. And what happens if it does not get fulfilled? You will be frustrated. You will keep thinking what would have happened had it been fulfilled. So both ways. That is why again Gita says, don't desire. Because if they get fulfilled, you will be bored. You will be having another desire. That will be not the end of desire. And if it doesn't get fulfilled, you will have anxiety and you will have frustration. So that is what is meant by not having desire. It doesn't mean that you should not plan for anything. You should not have aspirations. Aspirations means try to plan something which is good for others and which is needed to be done. Which is needed to be done. So when we go for a study, just imagine, I'm a student then what should I do? Shouldn't I think that I have to clear this course with good marks? Will that be called a desire? No, that is your dharma. Dharma means you have accepted the responsibility of being a student. So now it is your dharma to do your studentship in the best possible way. So work hard, learn hard, try to complete all your assignments, all your the work which is given to you in that course. But if you do not get the marks which you just wanted to have by competing with others, don't get disheartened. This is what we mean by not having desire. Do your duties, but don't be attached to certain frame of your mind that I have to be like this. And if it doesn't happen, then my ego gets hurt. So ego is another very, very important thing, which is very helpful in a limited amount, because without ego, this soul cannot be in this human body. But a huge amount of ego is cause of all the disasters. If I talk about the country where I am in right now, you will be really thinking that this is the best place of the world to be in. And many of us desire to be here. And the situation here is that almost every fifth person is suffering from some kind of the mental health issue, which is of that scale that the person is not able to do the routine daily work assigned to the person in a way it should have been. So the person is not able to concentrate on the work, on the life, or the day-to-day routine work. This is almost 20% known population. And above all, it is predicted that 50% of the population is going to be diagnosed by a high level of mental disorder. And high level of mental disorder, you mean you are not able to conduct your own life. So 50% of the population is at that level of risk, means every second person. So is this the situation in life we all are aspiring for? Is this fulfilling all our desire? They have all the money of the world. They have all the exposure, all the skills, all the technology. But the situation is that they are not able to concentrate even when talking to another person. They are not able to communicate with their near and dear ones in a peaceful manner. It is causing a huge mental stress, even in the students, in the teachers, in the professionals. And then there is this term you hear very frequently, burnout. You have heard during the COVID, many people resigned from their jobs. The doctors resigned from the jobs, the nurses resigned from the jobs, teachers, academicians, and many people, many employers had to face this challenge that people are not ready to work anymore. And you know what can happen if this situation continues for some more time? That means the money, the position, the skills, the infrastructure, nothing is going to help you unless you take care of the most important tool the God has given you, your own mind. Forget about every 6 months coming an Apple iPhone or Apple MacBook. We are very much eager to take a new version of iPhone whenever it comes, and we feel very proud, though we don't use most of its function all the time. But you know, your mind is the most sophisticated gadget in the world. It has the power of healing No medicine can heal you better than your own mind. It is proved now. It is not a secret that most of your diseases, even your corona or any other disease, that is caused not by the virus, but the deficiency of your own immune system, the deficiency that your own body is not able to fight against it. And you can activate your immune system by taking proper care of your mind, by giving it the food it requires, the nutritional food. And what is the nutritional food for mind? The nutritional food for mind is just save it from all the waste thoughts. The same way as you put mask on your mouth or your nose to keep all the bacteria and virus away, shut your mind to all the negative exposures which you are continuously getting. Get away from the people, from the places, from the whatever situation which is inducing anxiety, stress, or negative thought into your mind. Just save your mind from all those things. And then how can you concentrate your mind on positive thought? That is also not easy. And it is said that the mind is like a monkey which has drunk alcohol, and then above all, that is stung by a scorpio. So एक शराब पिया हुआ बंदर जिसको बिच्छू ने काट लिया हो, इस टाइप की बेचैनी इस माइंड में हमेशा रहती। ऐसे माइंड को कंट्रोल कैसे करें? नॉट अ इजी थॉट, नॉट अ इजी प्रोसेस. So how can you do it? You have to do it by regularly practicing the silence. When your phone hangs out, what do? You format, you delete the waste files, and you do it repeatedly. It is not like you do it once in a year. Every morning you have to delete your files, or you have to stop downloading automatic image files or big files, which are not of your interest. So the same thing you have to do with your mind as well. Stop downloading or paying attention to the things which have no meaning in your life or which make your life miserable. Don't compete with others. There is nobody there to be attached to your life and to cause you any hurt or any pleasure. There are people, they are doing their own things. Let them do it. Just focus on what you want, what is your life, what are your aspirations, what is your roadmap. And how to create your roadmap. Another very important trick to handle your negativity is that think about others, not about yourself. So what we say, ill, I-double-L. If you remove I and you replace this I by W-E, we, everybody, then it becomes well. So if you replace I by we or by thinking of others, replacing your greediness, your selfishness by thinking about how can you do good to others. So that is also a very purifying technique of your mind, and you can always get rid of your waste thoughts which are coming to you just because you keep what I can get, what it will do to me, how am I getting any profit out of it. Just think about what can I do, how can I help others, what others will be getting if I do this thing. So even if you are studying, think about how this study is going to help me to contribute in the society. If you are doing a job, don't think how much this job can give you money or reputation. Think about through this job, how can you help the people around you? If you are having money, don't think how much I can consume, because you can in any way consume very little. Your capacity is finite. You cannot consume anything beyond a certain limit. So what can I do for others with this money? Or what can I do for others with this body? I have this body, I have these skills, I have these thoughts. How can I use it in the welfare of everybody else surrounding us? And also how to connect with nature. We do not exist in isolation. We exist as a part of this system. So if I'm careful about my relationship with the nature, with earth, with water, with heat, with air, with space, that is also to be revered, and that is also to be respected a lot. We cannot stay together. Either you will be anxious or you will be grateful. So if you are grateful, then your anxiety will no more stay in your mind. So that is also one of the very. So I think these were the techniques, all were highlighted by Shivangi. Being a neuroscience student, she has touched all these things. And then there were like some techniques also, which were given by Priyanka. They were also very helpful, like analyzing your strengths, your weaknesses, how to remove your weaknesses, how to emphasize on your strength, and then visualizing what you want to be. And that visualization and positive affirmations, they keep you motivating all the time. They encourage you all the time. So these techniques are also very, very helpful in managing your own mind. And then, as she said, like the course of Swami Vivekananda, he was the monk who was as rooted in ancient wisdom as he was aware of the modern need. So if we are having any aspiration, then just live that aspiration to the level that each cell of your body is filled with that aspiration, that one single idea, and keep on working on it, and just leave everything aside. So if you just collect all your energy, concentrate your focus on single thought, then nothing can stop you from realizing that particular thought in the real life. So that is also how we can achieve success in the worldly terms, or how can we focus, or how can we keep away the negative thoughts. So there are so many things we can talk about, but if we just want to say few words as a take-home message, then we can say the practice, the sacrifice for others, detachment, and focus. And instead of me, you should be the center of my all activities. So if we can do this much and be present in whatever moment you are. Right now we are in seminar. So are you really present in the seminar, or you are just having so many things doing same time? So that also is a distraction of mind. So mind becomes habitual of distracting itself from the main work, or from being present in that moment. So do one task at a moment. If you are eating, just eat and enjoy. If you are looking at the picture or movie, just enjoy the movie. Don't think about studies or anything else. If you are in studies, don't think of movie and anything else. Just be there. So your mind is a wonderful machine, But this is the limitation and the property of the mind. It can hold only one thing at a particular moment, but its speed is very high. We do not realize that we are not capable of doing many things at a time. We just think one thing, then we come back, then we go somewhere else, and then we come back. So if you practice this, like keeping your mind focused on one particular thing. So breathing exercise, if we say, focusing on or your breath or your any other object, you can just have a candle or any deity picture or your god or whatever you feel like, or any natural object. If you focus your mind at that point of time, at that place, your mind cannot go anywhere else. It can have only one thing in its mind. If it goes away, just bring it back. Just bring it back again to that place. And that is how you can be focused after practicing some time. And then you will see your mind will start having lesser number of thoughts. It will not be cluttered by so many thoughts. And you will be having thinking only when you want to think. You will not be compelled to think even if you do not want to think. So you will have control over your thoughts if you can practice a little silence, a little breathing exercise, just being with the nature and thinking of others. So with this, I would like to stop here. It has been a lot. And if there are any questions, comments, or queries or whatever, so I will be really happy to address them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for giving the wonderful thoughts on this particular issue and summarizing all the speakers' thoughts that all have discussed. So thank you so much, ma'am, once again. So now as we can see that Dr. Anil Mishra sir has also joined us, as we can see him. So now if he can give the closing comments, because as we know that we are also moving towards the end of this webinar. So if sir can give us few closing comments for this whole webinar. So sir, you're the most welcome. Sir, can you hear me? So you're unmute. Please unmute yourself.
You are not audible. You have to unmute yourself. Unmute.
हमका पहले तो पावन सी आया करी थी हुआ भाषा बना
Just click on your screen. Just click on your screen and you can see the mic over there, and you can click it to unmute it.
I think sir's video is also being freezed. So maybe having some problem.
Some technical issue maybe.
Yes,
because he is not able to do it, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm audible at present.
Yes, sir, you're audible now.
Okay. So thank you very much, Ayush, for organizing this session. This is a really very much informative session. So initially, when you asked me, I was driving my car, so I could not connect to you, and I was listening all of you. And after the conclusion by Professor Sheila Mishra, who is chairing the session, there is nothing to mention more in this particular session, though it's a very broad topic and I have so many aspects to discuss. I need to discuss the other aspects of this very really demanding topic of the day. As we know, this mind may be your best friend if it is under your control, and it may be your worst enemy if it is under the control of your senses. Management of mind, what I feel, is really a practice to live in present with entire focus and concentration on what you are thinking, what is your one desire at your present moment. If you see, go back in the history of Indian philosophers, if you see the Charvak Darshan, there is Yavat Jivet Sukham Jivet Rinam Kritva Ghitam Privet. So entirely focus on the fulfillment of the desire of the senses. And the contrary to this Charvak Darshan is the Darshan of Isavasya, which has been already quoted by Professor Sheila Mishra. And this is, and also the detachment, in psychology also detachment and practice, the same thing is there in Isavasya, and that is Isavasya Vidam Sarvam Yat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat Ten Tyakten Bhunjitha Ma Girda Kaschit Dhanam. So this is from going to Charvak Darshan, fulfilling all the desire of senses, to the Isavasya Darshan, with detachment, live in present and live and enjoy whatsoever is there with you, because what has been narrated in the session that you cannot achieve. We are a very, very our life is a very short in comparison to the whole in Mars and the life in on the earth itself. Millions of years life, and we are having hardly 80 years, 90 years, 100 years of life. So everything cannot be achieved. We cannot move in every direction. So we have to focus, we have to identify the best quality among us. And that quality we have to enhance. And that quality should be a positive quality, of course. Recognizing that quality and whatever you can do for the betterment of that quality, we should do in our life, and we should try to really live in the present. This is difficult. Actually, this is very much difficult when we start practicing it. But this is like already I have mentioned somewhere, this is like squeezing water from stones. But when we continue this practice, so it becomes so easy to manage your mind that it is as easy as a pilot flies airplane. So we should start practicing to live in present, to minimize the desires, after desires of the mind, and that is the desire, not desire of the mind. Mind have no desire, nothing is else. When it is under the control of your senses, the desire which will become the desire of the mind, and when it becomes under your control, under control of the soul, then the desire starts coming down, and their numbers reduces, and you start living in the present, and you start enjoying your life, whatever you are having at present. You start thanking the nature, thanking the Almighty, thanking your parents, thanking your teacher, thanking your neighbor, thanking all around you for whatsoever you are, and thanking the God for giving this life, whatsoever He has given this life. What sort of life is your life? Yeah, at least you're enjoying that one. So it's really, I'm very much thankful of all of you. You gave time to me. I again extend thank to you. And I thank all the speakers. Their presentations very, very nice. And I'm sure that like the past years, this will be included in your book, which will be, I think, very soon you will publish that book, your open student R. So I give all the best wishes to all of you, especially youngsters, to practice this management of mind. And by practicing this management of mind, you practice the management of time itself. So both are correlated to each other, management of mind, management of time, management of life. These all are correlated. Wish you all the best, and thank you very much for giving me time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, sharing your words with us. So now we are just moving towards the end of the session. So I would like to thank to all the participants, those who have been continuously being joined through the webinar. And also I thank to all the speakers, those who have just presented beautifully all the slides and presented the thoughts on the particular issue. And as we have also mentioned in our template that all the participants who have joined will be just receiving their certificates on their respective email IDs. So the respective team will be contacting those who have joined this particular session from the start. So we will be sending them the certificates. So now I think this is the wrap for this website session, or you can say this is the wrap for this webinar that we have today. So thank you once again to all of you. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Ayush, and all the students who are associated with OSH team. They have really worked very hard to make it happen in a very short time. So congratulations to all the students, Aditi, Deepika, Priyanka, Sampurnanand, Gopal, and Yamini, Tanu, and all the esteemed guests. I can see Dr. Sant Sharan ji and Dr. Pramod Mishra ji and Dr. Sanjeev Sinha ji and Dr. Swami Dayal ji. So they all have been with us all the time, and just some of them have left. So forgive me if I just skip some of the name. Neeti is there. So I'm really delighted to see all of you, and Vabho is there. And Yamini also shared her thoughts. There was some technical issue. She could not unmute herself, so she could not share her thoughts by talking to us. But still, all of you have contributed in your own way, either by sharing your thought or listening to whatever we had to share with all of you. And maybe that we will be receiving your feedback, your suggestions for our future discussions, and it will be more interactive and more participatory in future. I hope that way. So thank you everyone, and thank you, Ayush.
Thank you.
So have a good time. And at my place, it is my good day. And for you people, I think it is going to be good night.
Yes,
yeah. So in Italy, I think it is going to be good evening. So everybody have their own good time. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.